Alright, today is January 10th, 2023. 13 days ago we've done the first treatment of microbe lift broad spectrum disease treatment based on formalin and Malachite Green. So today is the time for another one. I'm still having problems, I think, with external parasites. I'm gonna point them out. We do a quick run over. This tank is usually fine. Well, it is fine. I don't see anybody rubbing or shaking parasites off. And in general, this system of 6 tanks has been okay. But I'll still give it another dose just as a prophylactic. So all these guys are okay. Actually, all the 240 gallons are probably okay. I don't see any, I have not seen and I do not see any evidence of parasites bothering these fish. As I'm walking along, I'm thinking and looking at everybody. The last gulper is still struggling. But that's because of the prior treatment and my error. The jerks are fine. I don't see any problems here. The peacocks on the other side, the jaguar, jello, they're all fine. And the Amphilophus are fine as well. Anyhow, I think I will treat this system of these 2 tanks. And I will not treat the system where the gulper is, because the gulper is barely hanging on. We've lost the other 2 gulpers, which will be reported in a separate video. But anyhow, this system of 2 tanks is combined in the same sump. So I'm not going to treat that one, but I intend to treat that other system of 2 tanks, this system of 6 tanks. I see some flashing and fin shaking here as well, once in a while. Fish are trying to shake off, like they shake their fin real fast. And then they also rub against the bottom, trying to rub off a parasite that's itching or biting them or embedding in the skin. So I see that sometimes here in this tank. I've seen hybrid do that. I've seen Indian shovelnose do that. I've seen Jow catfish do that. Never seen paroons or lyrii do that, or any other body else for that matter. Even redtail, even though it's been sick, it doesn't do that, but maybe I miss it, you know. Can't speak that I always see everything. I see this sometimes in this tank as well. The marble pim catfish especially sometimes do that. Probably nobody else I usually see in here that indicates parasites. This tank I usually don't see anything like this behavior exhibited by the inhabitants. But this tank and those 2 4,500 gallon tanks are on the same system, on the same sump, so I have to treat everything. So this system is a must. And the last is the biggest tank, where I also have problems. I see fin shaking and flashing or rubbing. I apologize, I just fed them mackerel, and man, I don't know if I'm going to be buying mackerel again, because mackerel makes such a mess. The water clarity is awful. I think it's all the fat particles suspended in the water, because I can see the particles flying by. And I think they are the fat particles, tiny little things. I mean, like a suspension that the filter cannot filter out because it's liquid. It's soft, fat. it will clear up better and better over days if I don't feed mackerel. But I mean, it's just terrible. I used to be able to see the back wall clearly and the fish in the back wall clearly. Right now it's so murky. It's almost disgusting. But anyhow, we have a couple of fish with obvious problems here. We have 4 ESOG barb or 7-stripe barb. This is a healthy one. That's the one with the problem. That's a healthy one. I don't know if you can make it out, but this guy's got whitish mucus on it, almost all over the body. He still feeds. That guy right here, he still feeds. And there's another one just like him. Out of the 4 ESOG barbs, 2 are like that. That the other one, I think. No, this one. See the whitenish on the nose, on the body, here and there. On the pectoral fins, still have good appetite and everything, but this whitishness, I think it's the excess mucus showing that these fish are bothered by parasites. And I also see occasional flashing in here as well by other inhabitants. So the second treatment is warranted in my opinion. I'm gonna give him slightly bigger dose, maybe 10-20% more, in the 2 25,000 gallon systems. This tank and the system of the 15,000 gallon sump, 2 4500s and 1800. Yeah, you see this film on the surface? That's fat from the Atlantic mackerel. What a mess. But I bought this fish because it supposedly shouldn't have faminase, but nothing is perfect. I might have to just buy finger mullet and for everybody except for the paroons and the others who take large fish whole, and just feed the mackerel to them, but everybody else would get finger mullet, which is not fat and it shouldn't affect the water clarity. If you've seen the first, I don't know if you remember, or maybe I didn't show it, but after a few days these tanks are going to be very murky because formalin kicks back the beneficial bacteria. But anyhow, we're gonna go for it now. Wish us luck. Okay, the medication is added. I added 2.5 liters to this system instead of the dosage calling for 2.2 liters. So about 300 milliliters more in here. I didn't have enough to treat these tanks, but maybe for the better because the small tanks don't need it. This was a prophylactic, but I think it's unnecessary anyway. They don't take very little medication anyway. So the system of 2 4,500 gallons and 1,800 gallon and the 15,000 gallon sump got 2,500 milliliters, which is up from the last 2,200 milliliters. But I only had barely enough to give a full dose to the 25,000 gallon tank. So this received about 2,000 milliliters, which is a 1-to-1 dose as recommended on the label.